Alright, I'm back on YouTube. I know I didn't upload a video in a long time. Alright, but I don't give a fuck. Alright, I'm just gonna upload whenever. It takes a while. Like this video, it took a while to make, right? Because, well, the title's gonna be like, I don't know, something along the lines of is the West cooked? I haven't decided exactly yet. And I couldn't fucking decide. Was the West cooked? Is it not? Like, there's still like a lot of good things about the West. It's still insanely fucking rich, bro. It's still quite free, quite democratic. There's no like external powers that are gonna challenge us and take us over. Like there's still tons of food and transport and good healthcare and stuff and education and whatnot. Right? We're still the most advanced society ever. The government's like not all the governments are good, clearly, but on a whole, like the government still like seems to actually want to like help us and like do better and whatnot. Although of course some of them have some pretty dumbass ways of going about it. But like there's like a really solid argument that the West isn't cooked. And generally, like I know a lot of people like they have their grievances with the way things are going. Like they go to protests and whatnot. Generally a lot of people would say like on like a whole like civilizational basis, we're not that fucked. Like people would say, oh, the economy's going down, the economy this, that. They just think it's going to go down and go back up. And I mean, that could be the case. But there's also like a rising movement of people who are like, oh, nah, we're fucked. Like this has got like the way things are going has gone on too long, and I don't know, like next year, next decade, next fucking century, probably not next century if something was gonna happen, but like at some point it's all gonna end and shit's gonna like collapse and reset. So this video, I'm gonna talk about some of that, I'm just gonna talk about some of the issues. I just wrote this script in like a one, so it's not even that coherent. But anyways, yeah, let's get started. Like we can start by looking at some of the major issues that like politicians and stuff are talking about. Immigration, for example. There's been massive riots across Europe and the United Kingdom relating to it. It's been one of the main issues in the U.S. elections. There's also been two-party politics, extreme polarization. There's wars beginning across the world in Israel and in Ukraine, and there's like a cost of living crisis in the UK and inflation, and everyone's getting poorer and everyone's spending power is going down. But I don't really think like that's the main issues with current like Western society, because stuff's gone bad before and it's all just bounced back. Like I think there's some deeper underlying problems with the way things are going, which are causing people to be unhappy. So I guess like what I'm getting at here is there's a decent amount of problems with the way people in our like the actual people in our society are like living and feeling, which could cause like a lot of problems. Because if you look at it like, oh yeah, you can look at all these wars and stuff as causing issues and economic issues. At the end of the day, right, the civilization is the people in it. So if there's problems with the people in it and the way that they're living and like the way that they're feeling, then there's going to be problems with the civilization as well. So like right now we're living in one of the most materialistic and agnostic societies in history. Agnostic being non-religious, they don't follow religious morals and values. But basically what that means is the only thing that people really care about on like a jet-wide, society-wide basis these days is profit. And that's a good thing in some ways because it drives people to be making market innovations and whatnot. As you know, they want to outcompete the opposition and whatnot. So it like drives progress in the economy and technology. But the problem is when profit becomes like the only thing that you care about, it can like they can like look the companies and whatnot will look for ways to exploit people to squeeze more money out of them, both their own employees and their customers. Furthermore, yeah, like what's seen as success in the modern world for like I don't know. Well, we're going to use the example of young men, but also women, I guess. Is like the standard of success is going up and up. Like it's no longer just you need to have like a stable job in the house. They want you to be making fucking 10K a month, right? The problem is exacerbated by social media. Like you see all these like rich people on social media claiming, oh yeah, an idiot can make 10K a month. It's not hard. Anyone can do it, right? The problem is there's not enough like entrepreneurial jobs like or money to go around, and also you're seeing all these like rich people on social media. It's worse than their mental health, and then because their mental health, like because of comparison, they're comparing themselves. Because their mental health is worsening, the people are not in like such a good position to even succeed anyways. Because as their mental health decreases, so does their productivity and motivation, which means that they're even less and less likely to succeed, and they're like spiraling downwards into depression. They're further and further away. So their only option is like just to be coping basically. And a lot of people, they just live their whole lives on just copium, pure, just trying to cope with like they fucking failed, at least in the like modern standards, and they see all these people online who succeed and make it look so easy. And basically, for a lot of men, like not succeeding and whatnot is fucking bad because what your caveman brain like hardwired you to do, and what it like thinks that success is, your caveman brain, is respect and status. And the main reason for this is so that you can reproduce with like the higher tier females, the ones with better genetics or whatever, so that your bloodline can survive. Because that's what's built into us. So basically, when these guys see all like the women going after the top 20% of men, of course there's generalization, not all of them, but the majority of women actually find 80% of men unattractive or below average in attractiveness. So they'll throw themselves. So not like they see the women throwing themselves at the feet of these like top 20%, 10% of guys. The rest of the guys are like standing there watching. It's making them like their brains thinking, "Oh, you're not reproducing." Like fuck, it's making them panic because that's what they're hardwired to do. They want to like that's what they're hardwired to do. And if your body thinks like it can't pass on its bloodline, it's like, oh shit, we need to fucking do something. So it starts making you all stressed out and that. And a lot of these guys get anxiety and depression and whatnot because of it. And a lot of these guys, they just choose to give up. Sitting in their houses, they just give up. They just watch fucking computer games and jacking it off and eat junk food and just fucking searching after cheap dopamine all day because nothing matters in their life anymore. So all they try and do is just search for pleasure. But and a lot of them over time, they even become bored, even constantly taking drugs and shit. They just become bored and they just choose to end it because they have nothing to live for. And it's a terrible shame. It's devastating on the family and the friends and community. Like I've witnessed firsthand. And unfortunately, the rates are rising of people like choosing to end it. It's going up, and it probably will continue to go up amongst men and women in the developed world, uh, as it becomes like more and more difficult, I guess, as more and more pressure gets put onto these people to succeed, and the definition of success goes up and up. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of guys that don't give up. There's a lot of guys that try. Like, they fucking try hard, and these guys work hard. And some of them succeed to a certain extent. But for a lot of the guys that want to work hard, it's difficult because the dopamine systems, like the way that our dopamine systems are exploited, make it harder and harder to find that energy and the motivation to actually, and the discipline to sit down and do the work. The fucking dopamine from all of these cheap, easy dopamine like activities ruins your ability to work. So a lot of these people develop like a compulsion to go on their phone every 5 minutes, like a fucking cigarette addict who needs a smoke break every hour. It's like it's fucking tough, bro, for these people. And I see these people like I'm not one of them. I'm not a victim of this like exploitation of our caveman brains by by not by the government, by the big companies. It's not like a conspiracy theory to like brainwash us all and make us like slaves. They just want to keep our attention and make so they can make profit because it's an attention economy. The longer they keep you scrolling on there, the more adverts they can show you, the more money they can make. And it's not just like adverts and social media companies, other stuff as well. Junk food, sweets, video games. There's a lot of like drugs as well these days, and it's like becoming less and less like looked down upon. And I mean, in Canada, they literally hand out fucking drugs to crackheads. Isn't that just like ridiculous? How the fuck is that going to help solve the problem? You're just giving them more and more of what has made them into crackheads in the first place. You're just fucking killing them. They're not offering much. So they say, oh, but it's safer. It's a safer environment. Yeah, but it's like it's a safer environment to do crack. You know what I'm saying? It's shocking, honestly. Like in the modern kind of Western world, degeneracy is rampant. There's no denying it. And you might say, oh, it doesn't matter though, because oh look, degeneracy is rampant, but everything's still going quite well, right? We're still like, there's no collapse. It's just freedom, and people choose to be degenerate, and there's nothing we can do about that. The reason that things are doing so well right now is not because degeneracy being rampant actually does work. It's because we're living off the backs and at the tail end potentially of like one of the most successful and like strongest and hardest working civilizations in history. You know, it's like if you look back to the fucking like I don't know from around like the Renaissance up until I don't know quite recently. Some would say I don't know like the 1970s or the 2008 financial crisis was when shit hit the fan, but so shit started like to end the golden ages, if you will, started to go down. Like the work was people worked hard. The skyscrapers were built by hand. You know, the scientists who invented like the telephone, electricity, even fucking like basic ass medicine. They worked hard. Our world was led by strong men, and of course, more recently, the women have been playing a part in it as well. You know, there wasn't degeneracy everywhere. If you look, it was quite conservative back then, not to the point where like people's freedoms were being limited, just to the point where like people weren't constantly flooded with cheap dopamine, so they actually had motivation to go out there and work hard and build like a strong civilization, which would last for a while. But you know the saying, strong men create good times create weak men create hard times create strong men, and then the cycle repeats. I'm pretty sure that's true. It holds a lot of truth, at least, behind it. And I would say currently we're like the tail end of the good times and the start of the weak men creating hard times. And who knows, next year, next decade, right? Next couple decades, I reckon the hard times are truly gonna start and shit's gonna change. I don't know how it's gonna change, but the way like our like civil society is working and stuff, I have a feeling that's gonna change because there's no way it can keep on going like this forever. No, we could draw similarities with the Roman Empire. You know, say for example, in the 100s AD, the Roman Empire was at the peak of its power and strength and unmatched domination of Europe and North Africa and the Middle East. But basically, they had 5 good, strong emperors who were strong enough to to keep the empire together because it was a hard fucking job. It was all of Europe. They had to keep together. But then, like at the end of that, in around 180 AD, the final emperor Marcus Aurelius died, and in came his son Commodus, who was a fucking degenerate and a weak emperor. And he was fucking insane, and he created a personality cult. Sorry, he created a personality cult, and he like fought in the gladiator matches and whatnot, and generally just was a shy emperor. And then his reign basically caused the entire empire to split into 3, and that was like the hard times, if you will, of the Roman Empire, or at least that part of the Roman Empire. And it only ended when the hard times created a strong emperor, Emperor Aurelian, who literally just fucking fought every con, won everything, and brought the empire back together. So what I'm saying is, of course, right now it's not the Roman Empire. It's probably not going to be the exact same as that, but we can draw comparisons to that. No empire or civilization in history has lasted forever, so it would be foolish to assume that ours is going to last forever at the peak of our prosperity. Yeah, but it's not all doom and gloom, I guess. We'll come to the end of the video. I'm going to end it on a slightly more positive note. As long as you personally, individually, don't fall prey to the degeneracies and the temptations of the modern world. You know, don't be fucking sitting at home playing video games all day. Don't be taking drugs. Don't be jacking your shit. Don't be chasing hoes. Only be chasing like things that are meaningful to you. Only go after like the actual real important stuff. You should probably be fine, and you should still be able to live a good, fulfilling, meaningful life, no matter how the world is going around you, you know? That brings me to the end of the video. This video was just a load of waffle that I wrote in my script. I don't know why the fuck it took so long to make. My videos always do, but it's just because I'm not very good at making them. But I've got holidays coming up. Might make another one in the holidays. Yeah, I'll see you later.